There's a new book that came out this last year called The Comprehension Experience. How many of you have seen it? Maybe some of you read it. Denise Nessel is one of the authors, and she was one of our NUA coaches when you would go to those big NUA meetings a few years ago, when we still had people come from NUA to work with buildings. And she is a language arts teacher from California, and she was the one, as a secondary language arts person, that I tended to always kind of gravitate toward, because she had ideas that would work for me in my classroom. And I want to read just a little bit just a paragraph out of this new text called The Comprehension Experience, engaging readers through effective inquiry and discussion. If students are to gain the most from reading informational text, teachers must make thoughtful and astute decisions about how their students can most effectively interact with each new text to maximize understanding. Practices that encourage flexibility of thinking and responding are thus more effective than those that rely on fixed prompts or routines. Does that make anybody think of? Does someone want to share what that makes you think of? My whole high school career, pretty much. We're going to read chapter 2 on the American Revolution. I'd like you to read the chapter for tomorrow and answer the discussion questions. Okay. Go. Skim, scam, figure out how to get the material, how to answer the review questions. You get some Spark, well, we didn't have Spark Notes then. The Cliff's Notes. Get whatever I needed to help me through that text. If it was above where I could read, just get through it. Answer those questions. Know enough to take the test. Take the test, hopefully do well on the test, and then forget everything. That kind of sums up my high school career. And when I'm thinking about informational text to other literacy people, we all understand the value of shaking it up when we're teaching, especially informational text. Those routines that we find ourselves into. I've always taught my language arts classes where I would pre-teach all the vocabulary. I just thought that's what you were supposed to do. And so for the Diary of Anne Frank, I had 45 words. And they were all equally important. I had to get through each and every one of those before we could possibly read. So by the time I had set up the Diary of Anne Frank, by the time the kids actually got to read it without my interruption and without my, kind of put a post-it here and let's talk about this here, by the time they got to what Kelly Gallagher calls the reading flow, they were so sick of the story. They weren't engaged, they weren't motivated. They were just, when's the test? I'll study the words, I'll make the flashcards, I'll take the test, and then I'll forget all of it. So I think myself all the time in these situations where I need to think about how I teach text to my students. What an opportunity to bring in informational text into my classroom in a variety of ways, which I've done, but I could do a much better job of that. Teaching something like the Diary of Anne Frank that's set in the context of history. There are a million articles I could have brought to help bring that alive for my students. And I could have shut my mouth a lot more than I did. And just let them discover all the cool things about that story. So that's kind of what this book brought out to me, was that I need to talk less. I need to be the one at the podium less, directing the students, telling them what to do next, and let them figure it out on their own. If kids have an essential question, and they know what they're looking for, that higher level thinking, and how does genocide play out in today's world, for example. Figure that out for me, and let them just go. I think we're going to find that we're going to get a lot deeper levels of learning in our classroom. So next time I teach the Diary of Anne Frank, I'm not going to pre-teach 45 kids. I might pre-teach